Okay, hi. Welcome to the It Girl podcast. We are here today with
Sara Walker.
Sara, my friend and the most amazing TikToker. You are everywhere right now.
I am so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course. This is so great. We're both from Seattle.
Yes, both from Seattle. We bonded over that.
206.
I love it. I know. When we exchanged numbers, it made me laugh that we were both 206.
Never meet anybody from Seattle. Seattle's having a moment right now.
It really is. I feel like in LA you meet more Seattle people than you probably meet in New York. There are far few between there.
Underrated.
Yeah.
It girl vibes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
underrated.
Seriously.
It girls.
Yes.
So I just want to start by talking about, because I've seen you all over TikTok. You're all over Instagram. You're working with all these amazing brands. Like, this is really your moment. You're having your It Girl moment.
I'm having fun. It's been awesome. Yes.
What was your journey? How did you get started? What kind of made you, how did you become an It Girl?
Good question. Well, I think ultimately it really stems out of a place of wanting to share my outfits and fashion. I feel like this is the classic. I've loved fashion since I was little, but truly, I think ever since I was super little, I was the most excited to put on outfits, get dressed for the day. And then in high school, I ended up working in retail and I know.
Where did you work?
Nordstrom, downtown Seattle.
My gosh.
I know. The classic. So, but then once I did that and it was my first job, I was 16, I was able to work, and it was like, I just loved being around product, understanding it, learning about trends, learning about like the buyers who bought what's on the floor and kind of the cycle of fashion. So once I did that, I was hooked. And then I went to college at USC, so in LA, and I interned practically every semester and did like a PR internship. I worked at Who What Wear.
Oh,
I know.
PR
oh my gosh.
I did, like, you have to do it.
Exactly.
Because it makes you
a rite of passage.
Person,
yes.
But the torture.
Oh my gosh.
The LA PR internship.
Yeah. So I did that, and I kind of then interned for a stylist. Like, I swear I tried everything, which I think benefited me because then I was able to decide what I liked and what maybe I didn't like as much. And then from there, I got a job working as a buying assistant. And then when I was a buying assistant, I decided one day, I was like, I'm going to start sharing my outfit every single day on TikTok. And if nothing comes of it, then nothing comes of it. I've enjoyed just sharing my outfits. And then pretty much from there, it just, I think, mixed with the consistency and just like sharing fun outfits and occasion wear that I was, wearing to go out. I think it kind of just took off, and then paired with Instagram. So it's been a really fun, organic journey. I've been working in a corporate job alongside social media. So I think it's been super interesting, and I'm in a place where I never expected. So that's awesome. And meeting amazing people like you via social media. So it's been a really fun journey for sure.
And what do you think you did differently? I know you said you posted every day. Do you think that was the key to your success? I know you're super stylish. I think that's like a huge part of your success, that you genuinely have beautiful style and you have great clothes. And every time I see like your Instagram story or anything, I'm like, oh, she looks so cute. You've always just looked so cute.
Thank you.
But what do you think you did differently? Because so many girls are fashionable and so many girls post all the time and try to do everyday outfit TikToks, and it never turns into anything.
Yeah.
So what do you think was what would you say differentiated you?
So honestly, I think from the get-go, it's so uncomfortable. The first time you talk to a phone, so awkward. But I think literally I started off talking through my outfits, and I just like had to force through that awkwardness. And I think people wanted to hear people talk, because there's a lot of, I now do outfits of the day without talking, and it's just like a video. But I think it was kind of like this organic of me literally just standing in front of a phone being like, this is what I'm wearing today. This is what I'm wearing at 2. So I don't know. I think it was kind of a mixture of just being super straightforward with my videos, but also being very organic at the same time, and talking. I think that helped differentiate, because there is like a shocking amount of people who don't talk to the camera, and it's just like, I don't ever do that in my TikTok. But you do at the same time, like you are interviewing people to a camera.
Yeah, like, like that changed everything for me. Like there was no traction. And then once I was like, people want to see maybe not even mine, but the person I'm interviewing's personality.
Right.
I want to see people's personalities. And I think there is an element where you have to show your personality. There needs to be a personality element. It can't just be, I'm a pretty girl and I'm in a great outfit. There's so many that there has to be an element to it. So that makes a lot of sense that you kind of have to talk and you have to give something. I think you have to give something for people to get attached.
Right. And I think I was kind of sharing where I was going to. I mean, I think even now I could do a better job of like sharing my actual life of what I'm doing and kind of who I am on social media. But at the same time, I think, yeah, giving some background, some color to what I was doing or what I was wearing it to, I think helped audience get to know me. So I agree with you.
Yeah. And on that note, what are the next steps? What do you want to do with this? Do you want to start a brand? Are you going to be a fashion designer girly?
Good question.
This is the good question. And what are your plans for longevity?
I really love being a part of a team, and I do love the traditional corporate fashion journey. I feel like I've had such a fun experience meeting people and learning so much. I think I have a lot to learn. I plan to stay in the fashion industry for a long time. I am having so much fun with my social media, and in a perfect world, I will do both. But I think
you don't want to be full-time social. You want to continue to have a job.
If you asked me this a month ago, I think I would have said, no, I plan to do both always. And that has always been my track. But I think now that my social media is taking off a little bit more, I'm having a harder time balancing both.
It is way more work. I was going to ask you, though, is it more work than you ever anticipated?
Way more work than I ever anticipated. Like I said, if you asked me even a month or 2 months ago, I didn't have as much personal work to work on, social media, outside things that I was like, oh, I can do both. And now that it's ramping up a little bit, and I don't know why or when or how, it's just kind of ramping up, that it is harder to do both. And I think I finish my day job, and then after I'm doing 2 or 3 hours of emails, even before work, I'm trying to create content. It's a lot. But that being said, I do really love working in the traditional corporate fashion position. So I don't know what the future will hold. I think I need to figure out what it is that I want to do. But I think eventually I would like to start a brand.
And clothing?
I think clothing. I mean, I love the beauty space. I love all like shoes, accessories, everything. But I think clothing's really where my passion.
Shoes are hard.
Shoes are hard.
Shoes are hard.
I think I have a lot to learn still, and I'm super aware of that. I've learned so much. Even, I don't know. Every month, I swear, I'm like, whoa, I've learned more than I think I could have ever imagined. And so I think I have a lot more to learn and be a sponge and absorb a lot of information and the way things work. And eventually down the road, I think that's the plan. But like you said, I hope to have longevity in the industry and continue to work and learn and meet amazing people. So it's been a really, really fun journey so far, and I'm excited to see what.
Does it scare you to think about having all of your income depend on social media?
I think I think I've been wired to think, hey, I will do social media on the side of whatever I'm doing. So I think I've always considered my social media as a side thing. That being said, I think, again, I'm at a point where I think I could take a full time and it wouldn't stress me out. But I think my traditional kind of mindset around it has been such that it is like a little scary to be fully working for myself. But at the same time, that's super exciting for me. Like, I can't wait till, I think, the days probably soon where I will take it full time just to see what it's.
That's crazy. I know. Crazy how fast it happens. I've watched a lot of my friends recently leave their jobs. Yeah. And you're like, this is a big leap. Like, you really work really hard to get to that point. Yeah. And it's kind of this unexpected thing pops up and you're like, can I do this? Yeah. Can I make a living off of this?
100%.
And then you're just expected to produce all of your own income. Oh my God. Especially I live in New York City.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of girls happen. And I'm like, it happens in an instant.
It almost seems impossible, but it does happen in an instant. So when that day comes, I will be excited. And I think it'll be an interesting transition for me. And I don't think, as of now, my mindset is not that I will do social media full time for the rest of my life. Granted, I think it'll always be a part of who I am and what I like to do. I love it. But I think I do also love that part that's more of the corporate aspect. So we'll see. I'm like, I don't even know for myself, but I think I will try the social media full-time route for a bit just to kind of see how I feel about it. And then I can always try and find a job.
Yeah. Wave to ride. And I feel like people bring so much negativity to influencer brands because they think that it's, there's too many, or I don't think you should go into anything without a passion. Yeah. Certainly. If you're not passionate about it, don't just slap your name on something. But I think it's amazing that so many women have an opportunity to start their own brands and to be business owners and make something long lasting. there's so much negativity around it. I think it's exciting every time I see an influencer start a brand.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Incredible. You know,
Same. Some of my favorite brands are influencer.
Me too.
Because I also think they know not only themselves best, but they also know what they love. And so if they love it and their followers love them, everyone else will love it. So I think it's actually a very organic way to start a brand, because I think they have people who genuinely love them for who they are. And then they create a product that they love. And then sure enough, everyone else that follows them loves it too. So
I feel like whenever women try to do something, it's overconsumption.
Oh my gosh.
It's frivolous, it's unnecessary. And it's why all of our passions are always silly and unnecessary. But how many men what is more over-consuming? Like, if you think of overconsumption, think of a sports game.
Oh, what? So true.
They trash
I know.
these stadium, it's like this gross, beer and hot dogs and burgers and merchandise and all of this. And it's that's not overconsumption. But if we want to start a fashion line, it's don't those jerseys and all that merchandise that gets unnecessarily produced constantly for every sports team, for every little tiny thing, that's also a fashion brand. I hate to tell you, if you work in sports and you have a merchandise line, that's a fashion line. Yeah, that's a fashion line. Mm-hmm. But when we do it, it's there's just the negativity around influencer brands bugs me so much. Well, you're just trying to create a living for yourself.
Right. And completely. And I think that there is always, in some aspect, unfortunately, and this is a sad narrative, but I do think there's a lot of negativity around influencer culture and influencer brands specifically, because it's starting it and all those narratives that come with it. But it's hard work, I think, in terms of starting a brand and something you have to be really passionate about. And it's a very exciting journey. And all the influencer brands that my friends have started, or that are influencers and have started, I love.
Yeah.
So it's exciting. I love seeing my friends start brands, and some of my favorite brands are brands that are started by influencers, so to speak. So
if you're a man, you're an entrepreneur. Yeah. If you're a woman, it's overconsumption and it's frivolous.
That's so crazy.
I won't harp on it, but it's true. And if a man starts a brand, it's oh my gosh, he's incredible.
Yeah, good for you. Yeah.
Look at what he's built for himself. He's amazing. And then a woman does it. It's, that's the last thing we need. And I'm why? It's why? It just doesn't make sense. But
I need to start a brand, by the way.
I feel like there needs to be an It Girl brand of something. I want to get all my girls stuff. I want all of you to have stuff that says It Girl.
I was going to say you need to do merch, but you could take it a step further than that too. But I think some It Girl merch would be
my queen at, do you know Abode? Yeah. Price.
Oh,
queen of free plug
embroidery queen.
Yes. For my girl, Abby. Abby made me an It Girl shirt.
Oh.
It's a white tank and it says It Girl on it. And every time I wear it, somebody asks about it. And I'm we need to do a line.
Speaking of embroidery, it's having a moment. Our friend Julia, millennial decorator, she is the embroidery on everything. I'm oh, I love this. It's so chic and elevated, but simple. So I agree with you. I hear you.
I love it.
Maybe that's what you should do.
I do really love it. I want to, Abby, if you're listening to this, I want to do something with Abode, because I just feel I don't know, I love it.
Yeah, so chic. I'll buy it. I'll support.
And I ask all the It Girls in every interview, what's your spring trend prediction? Everybody says monogram. And I'm
it's interesting. I think I agree.
It's very Blair Waldorf.
Yeah, it is.
I love it.
I mean, I feel that's kind of the aesthetic, is everybody likes their, elevated chic, but monogram.
And normalize being obsessed with yourself.
Yeah.
I want my name.
Your name on everything, your initial on everything.
Yeah. I want other people's names on it. I want people to walk around with shirts that say It Girl on it.
Yeah.
I am an It Girl. I think you need to normalize.
I think you
being obsessed with yourself.
A center It Girl, I think you got to do it.
I feel to be an It Girl in the modern day, it requires you to have a social media presence. Mm-hmm. It's about the internet. Whereas in the past, that wasn't the case. That's not what Marilyn Monroe was up back in the day.
Totally.
She wasn't on the internet. Yeah. But now it's about a social media presence. And with that, I think being an It Girl has always come with some level of toxicity and always come with so much just harsh criticism. And whenever a woman has a platform, she's heavily criticized and there's so much negativity and there's just someone always has something bad to say. I've experienced the toxic side of the internet and it's very, very frightening. How have you been affected? Has that made its way to you? Have you experienced that yet? The toxic side of being an It Girl on the internet and having a large TikTok following, how has that affected you?
So I will say I feel I'm lucky in the sense that there's very few very negative comments. But that being said, I do think that I haven't shared my personal life to a certain extent on social media, not on purpose. It just, I mean, I've been busy and it's like, I share what I can share so far. But I think because it almost feels like, not that it's not me, but that I haven't totally let everybody in on fully my life, that when there is negative comments, it almost doesn't hit as deep because I'm like, okay, well, they don't know me fully.
Yeah.
So I think that's a healthy outlook to view it, because it's just like, I don't want to ever take it personally. I mean, it's somebody on the internet sitting behind their phone saying something negative, which is really sad too, that there even is like I mean, social media is amazing, but that people take to the platform and create a negative space is so sad. But I think, you know, there has been some negative comments for sure. But I also think that I look at it like this person's kind of silly and just negative. And I
feel like, aren't you embarrassed that you're an internet kid?
Yes.
I'm like, I literally will ask them in my comments. I'm like, your friends and family know that your side gig is going on the internet and bullet. Like, I mean, do people say yes? And like, I'm like, user 57893. Like, okay, you're saying that this outfit's ugly and that I don't have good taste. Like, okay, sure. Like, if that's what you think, but I'm also like, who is this behind the screen creating negative comments? And it's more I've
like
gotten death threats, and I'm like,
stop.
Yes. Oh, I've gotten crazy death threats. Did you see when I got called out by Barstool?
No.
Oh, I got canceled by Dave Portnoy. They have a page for girls, girl interests, quote unquote, and they renamed it It Girl.
Got it.
And someone sent it to me and was like, they ripped you off, and I was like, no way, they renamed it. It was called Chicks, I think.
Oh yeah,
it was Chicks.
Yeah.
They had a podcast. They said like it was too similar, whatever. But it originally started as whatever. I truly could go on and on about why I think that page is so just like misogynistic and gross. But anyways, they renamed it It Girl. I made a TikTok about it. Did not think Dave Portnoy would see it. Oh, he saw it. And he saw it very quickly. Within minutes, he was like the 10th person to watch my Instagram story. And I literally thought to myself, oh, this is not good. Honestly, upsetting. I was laughing. And then I got upset when women were reaching out to me like, this reminds me of my abusive husband, like all this stuff. Like it was really not. Oh, it was inappropriate. But
that sounds very inappropriate. Also, to what extent? Yeah, that seems very.
It's like it's over a name. It's over a podcast. It's over a.
Did it end up getting resolved? Because obviously you still do It Girl.
Continue.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, it's an expression which everybody came at me because they said I thought I owned it. I don't think I owned it. One, I'm not the It Girl. The girls I'm interviewing are the It Girl. They were like,
you are an It Girl.
Oh, thank you. That was a big thing. They're like, don't you dare call yourself an It Girl. It was just a thing. But the death threats were so crazy to me because I just was like, so many in my DMs. I just couldn't. And I was like, do people see that you're doing this?
Well, also that's scary because it's like, has to do with your well-being. Like, it's one thing to read a negative comment. That's obviously not okay and very wrong for people to be taking the internet saying negative things. But also for that's really scary and not okay.
I always kind of thought people were lying when they said like, oh my gosh, my DM, like if you get canceled or you get called out, like when people say I'm getting these awful messages, I thought they were being dramatic because I was like, oh, who's really going on the internet and saying that to you? And then I started getting the DMs and I was like, oh, this really happens. Like there really are people who are dedicated to sitting in their house and trying to terrify you and scare you.
It's so sad.
And then the really scary thing too was when people would recognize me on the street. Guys would come up and go, are you the Portnoy girl? And I'm like, you're not going to like punch me in the face, are you? Like I would be like, speaking of punching in the face, are you happy about this or are you not? I was at my friend's birthday and the guy was like, you need to know, I really love Dave Portnoy. I was like, you can love him and still, I was like, support me. And I said, you can love him and still be nice to me right now because we're meeting in person. Like if you're around Dave, give him a high five, love him, hug him, whatever. But like, around me right now. So like, is this going to be an uncomfortable? It was just weird. So I've experienced it. And so I'm so fascinated by, and
how do you deal with that? So when you were going through that, what?
You know what's really funny? I was going through a really bad breakup when that happened. So I just paid it no mind whatsoever.
Right, because you were just...
I was so preoccupied with something else that everyone was like reaching out to me and was like, are you okay? Are you like in disguise maybe?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't care about this. Like, I'm so heartbroken. I was so heartbroken at the time that I just didn't have the energy to... I did not pay any attention. I didn't read any of the comments.
Okay, well...
I didn't listen. I didn't even listen to his full video.
No fun, but maybe in a way it was the right distraction for you not to focus on it.
The only reason I did not feel like everyone's like she's got to be so embarrassed. She's got to be so upset. The people would comment, this girl's got to be crying at home. I'm like, oh, I am so not paying attention. Yeah, I turned my TikTok comments off and just was like literally focused and crying about my breakup.
This happened. When did this happen?
This was Thanksgiving.
Whoa. Okay.
It was over because I was at home. And then everybody,
goodness,
wearing this jacket that had makeup on it. And everybody like was so mad that it was like my jacket from high school because I was home.
Right.
And I was like, this is just like some old jacket. I didn't even have eyeliner on. I was like, I was home with my mom. And then they were like, where is she? Because they're when I'm
all I wear is like my old PJs.
Like sweatpants. Like I was home. I was at my mom's house. Like I wasn't in my social media mode.
Also, Seattle, love it to death, but you're wearing you're wearing North facing and whatever every single day. It's not a place of high fashion.
Thank you for attesting to that because I really got,
and I love Seattle and I love dressing up, but I will not say I would not pick Seattle as being a high fashion city.
The comments I did see when the video had like 1 million views. That was the last time I looked. I think it ended at like 3 or something.
Oh my God.
And that was on his Instagram. Once I saw he posted on his Instagram, I was like, oh, I'm in trouble here.
Oh my gosh.
When I saw it, when it had like 1 million views, every comment that I did read was like, her jacket. And I was like, have you ever been to Seattle? Oh, you're lucky. I've been like,
you're like the backstory around that.
Yeah. Like, have you seen the way people dress in Seattle? Like, I would say Seattle, I love you, but it's some of the
Seattle, I love you. It is some of the worst fashion. I mean,
fashion is not even the right word.
I was gonna say, I think it lacks. Actually,
everyone is dressed like they're about to go camping.
Yep. And you kind of have to lean into it. Like, I kind of love it. Like, I'm in my Birkenstocks and my North Face and I love it. And Seattle's the best. It really
don't wear makeup, but no, I don't. You can blend in. Yeah, it's a vibe if you want an escape, it's a perfect escape. But I was like, I might be the most well-dressed person in my horribly makeup destroyed. 15 years old.
It happens. Like,
I'm actually serving and you don't even realize it. I want everybody else.
You're like trying to respond to comments being like, oh, you don't even know.
I was like, you're lucky. Thank goodness I put on some makeup. Because I almost made it with no makeup because I was trying to speak to my people.
Oh yeah.
I was trying to be like, hey girls. Like,
that is a crazy, I did not know about that.
The wrong side. So you've never reached the wrong side.
So I have reached the wrong side. Actually, one time I had a ad that a brand sparked on TikTok, where they can run ads. So it was coming from my name, but it was not me running the ad. And
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah. And so it was the brand running the ad. It like would go to their website, but it was my video. It got to the wrong side because I think it was an ad and maybe it hit, I don't know how it works, but it hit one group of people and then it kind of stuck. They were commenting on it. And that's where I got a lot of negativity because I was like, oh, and it wasn't, I think my audience is, I don't know the exact analytics, but it's, I mean, I want to say even 97.
Yeah, I think I'm women. 87 women.
So I'm like, I have so many women followers. I feel like they're the ones building me up.
That's what I was trying to talk to. I was trying to talk to my 87 women. And then he posted on his page and I was like, oh yeah, here's the 100%.
Exactly. So then when this ad landed on like, I think mostly a male For You page, it had a lot of like, this outfit's ugly. Who are you dressing for? Like, I would never, like, just things that are silly. And also too, I'm sorry, like, who are they to say? But it did end up on the wrong side. And that was my experience of it ending up on the wrong side. And then I was getting followers from people that I was like, actually, I don't think you're going to like my content. Yeah. You don't like this. So why are you even following me? So it was interesting, but that was my experience. And thankfully nothing has happened really since, but it is interesting. We have our people, and if it goes to the wrong people, that's where the negativity comes in.
I get to see a really unique side of it too, because when I do interviews with girls, like when we post on Instagram, it's a collab post, right? So if it's on my page or the It Girl page or whatever, I get all these alerts,
right?
And it's really crazy to see the girls that it goes up and I'm like, oh, people love her. People love her. And then I see the other girls and I'm like, oh, wow. Your comments, like I get to see their followers.
Right.
That's who I'm collabing with.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, it's interesting. So sad. Yeah. I can see who gets love and who gets hate. And it makes me so sad.
It does make me sad. I mean, social media and the internet's a beautiful thing, but it's also a very negative thing. So, I mean, I feel very lucky to have a positive experience on the internet.
I'm glad.
Knock on wood.
I'm glad we have a really great audience.
Yes.
That I'm like, people have asked, like, oh, I'm scared for this, whatever. And I feel like they're sweet.
So good.
Well, so supportive. Any girl I've ever met that comes up and is like, hey, I see your side interviews. I love It Girl. Like, I love it. It's always positive.
I also feel like it girl, people are genuinely, you always have such amazing people on that people are genuinely interested in learning about them.
It girls are nice girls.
They are.
There's the teen.
Yeah.
So that's my only rule.
Yeah.
Is they have to be nice girls. Like it's a fun opportunity to make friends, lifelong friends. I want to see these girls flourish.
Yeah, your videos you do on the street style ones are so sweet and short and to the point, which I love watching too. I'm like, oh, I feel like I got to know this girl. She's an it girl, and I learned a little something about her, but it was also like short and sweet.
It makes me sad when they're nervous because they're like afraid of me. And I'm like, oh, we're gonna make you good, okay? I'm like, we are not gonna post anything where you look bad. We're gonna cut it. We're gonna clip it. You're gonna look great. Your outfit's cute.
When we filmed ours, and you were like, okay, just yell because the microphone's not working.
Oh my gosh, my mic died that day. I saw the street interview guy the other day. That was helping us.
Yeah.
And he was like, how's it going with the mic? I was like, I got a new mic. Yeah. There's another little bit of tea when Sara did her interview.
We were like yelling.
Was my mic completely
The video looks good though, but I was like, you could tell, like now if you rewatch it knowing that, you're like, oh, you can tell that I was like yelling a little bit.
Yeah. It was so, well, okay, I did one the other day and I didn't even think of it. We could have voice memoed it on your phone.
Oh.
That didn't even occur to me.
I first thought that's very creative. Well, hey, honestly, when you sent me it, I was like, oh, this actually like sounds really good.
I spent hours cleaning up the audio. I was like,
you're good at,
I clean the audio. Yeah, that's the other. Filming on the street in New York City is such a
I mean, I applaud you. It is
wild. They're filming Elspeth. Did you watch that? No, I've never seen it, but they're filming that right now in New York, and they've stolen my filming spot.
Yeah, I was gonna say you have your filming spots to a T. Yeah, you know what the good ones.
Me and what's it on CBS? Me and CBS allegedly. Allegedly, I'm in a one-sided feud with CBS because they've stolen my filming spot.
The alleged comments in this.
Apparently, you can say anything you want if you say allegedly.
Oh, I love that. No, I didn't.
You can say anything you want as long as you say allegedly. I've heard that might be bad legal advice. Allegedly, you can say allegedly.
That's good.
Accuse people of anything you want.
Yeah.
I don't actually accuse them. So how long have you lived in LA now?
So I moved to LA for college and I went to University of Southern California. So I've been here now like 8 years. I graduated in the pandemic 2020. So I've been living here ever since. I went back to Seattle for a bit, but I've been here.
Where you want to stay?
So
I am not an LA girl, which is why.
So I graduated and said, oh, I will never live in LA. I did it for college. I don't need to be here again. Mm-hmm. But I feel like LA is one of those cities like New York. You can move neighborhoods and you have a completely different experience. So I was in downtown LA for college, which completely done with.
That was an internship.
That was a thing of the past. Yeah, it's I mean, I loved my time at USC, but I will never live there again. And then I lived in West Hollywood for 2 years. And that was, a West Hollywood experience. Felt more city party. It was going out more. And then now I'm in Santa Monica and I feel like I'm in a different city. I have a whole new experience. I love LA more now than I've ever loved.
By yourself?
I live with my boyfriend and our dog. So it feels very homey.
Yeah.
We go on hikes. We go on walks. I'm able to, go to the beach very quickly. I live close. So I'm loving my LA life now. I think there was times even in West Hollywood and after college where I thought I wouldn't live in LA.
It's such an interesting.
It is super interesting. And I will say I've lived here. I was a hater for a bit and said, this isn't the city for me. But now that I'm here, I feel very at home. I think it really has been so game changing to be on the West Side closer to the ocean because even though I lived in LA, I never went to the beach. So now
I lived in Century City. No, I can't think of when I ever went to the beach.
And even now I don't necessarily go to the beach that often, but I'll go for walks. I see the water. It just feels a little bit, I have my Seattle roots. I feel like I'm in nature more. Yeah. So it's been good. And I feel like now, I don't know if I'll live here long term, but I'm loving it for now, at least the next couple of years.
Do you feel like it's necessary to live in LA for what we're doing and for your career in fashion?
I feel like actually fashion, I think if I was thinking career-wise completely, I think I would actually be more, not that I'm not successful here in fashion, but I think New York's really where I could and should be. But I'm about to move to New York. I know. I love New York. I did a summer there and it was the best, but I just a blast. I don't know. Now that I've been living in LA, I don't think I'll ever move to New York, but I like visiting New York every month or so.
LA is, for me, LA was harder than New York.
So everyone, I think that's a very true narrative with a lot of people. And I think
And you have to live in both places to know that.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks, oh, LA is easy. New York is so hard. New Yorkers are so tough.
no, New York is more inviting. People are come over, come to
Yes.
this. Where LA is very, I mean, I've been very lucky. A lot of my USC friends still live here and I've made amazing friends since who are very inviting. But I think for the most part, people are very stuck in their ways in LA. And I think New York, everyone's come here, do this. Let's go to
They
this.
say New Yorkers will chew you up and spit you out. I'm like, no, people in LA won't even take the time to chew you up and spit you out.
Yeah.
They won't even look.
No.
They'll say, yeah, we'll grab coffee. You will never see.
I think LA, the issue with LA is it can be very isolating. Not that New York can't be, but I think LA can very much be super lonely and isolating.
People are so friendly.
Yeah.
And LA is so much harder than New York.
Yes. And I don't disagree. So I think that I've been lucky again. A lot of my college friends are here, but at the same time, I've sensed that even when I was living in West Hollywood and I was post-grad and everyone was kind of in their own world, I had a harder time of figuring out what my rhythm was and who to hang out with. And then if I had friends who lived across town, I mean, New York, you can get around.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, it's also hard to see people in different areas of New York, but LA is, I was talking to somebody and she's dating somebody who lives in Venice and she lives in like Silver Lake. And I'm like, oh, you're genuinely in a long distance relationship. Because you're actually like an hour and a half.
I was going to say, that's at least an hour. That is, I take you at
an hour.
An hour.
So, even though you're in the same city, it's actually really, you have to schedule things in LA.
And like
a lot more than New York.
In New York, I have made some of the best female friends I've ever had in my life. I have not encountered one mean girl. I mean, maybe one or two, but no bullies in LA.
No.
I genuinely was like, am I being bullied? I realized I was being bullied by people that were my friends. And I was like, I'm a victim of bullying.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, I think, again, luckily, I feel lucky that I haven't had too many of those experiences in LA, but I do. It happens and it's not fun. And I think LA is, in general, I've had a good experience now being on the West Side, but I think there is some tough dynamics here. So, but in terms of fashion and influencing and content creation, I do feel like LA is a good spot for that. Again, I think New York, from what I can tell on social media and what I see with brands, there's almost more happening in New York. Because New York, you could go to something 3 nights a week.
Yeah. Or I feel like it's not always. There's always getting invited. Yes. I'll be at an event getting invited to another event. I'm like, do you want to run this with me? And I'll literally, you can turn to the girl next to you. Like, hi, it's so nice to meet you. Do you want to come with me to this? And they'll come.
Yep. And I feel like it's always like a cocktail party. It's hey, you want to like come stop in for a drink? Come do this in New York, where I think LA is, I mean, there's been a lot of lunches I've had to sit out on because of my job, but I think it's more what I've noticed, like lunches. There's a lot of daytime things in LA, which are super cute and well done, but they're always up in the hills renting out a house.
Yeah.
And they're beautiful, but it's also just, I think, different, I mean, not to say that there's not the cocktail parties and things that New York has, but I feel like there's maybe even more fashion specific in New York.
I think New Yorkers are hard on the outside and soft on the inside.
Yes.
And LA people, particularly the girls, are soft on the outside, but hard when you get to the inside, it's a little bit rotten there, and it's like, oh, you seemed like you were really sweet, whereas the person you might be afraid to approach in New York is actually sweetest,
nice.
teddy bear ever. They're just, we have to be on alert. There's danger lurking at every corner.
Oh my gosh.
And so you kind of have to be on high alert. But whereas here, you think you're going up to this soft, sweet person who really will steal from you and rob you and ruin your life. And it's like, wait, what's happening?
Yeah.
So it is a really interesting dynamic. So you don't feel that for social media, you necessarily have to live in the places.
I don't think so, but I also can't imagine. I'm a big city girl.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine not living in either LA or New York. Maybe eventually down the line, Seattle. But I think
you would go back.
I mean, I liked growing up.
They would have to take me back there kicking and
really
screaming.
See, I liked growing up there, and I'm like, I think it would be a good place. This is way down the line, but like to raise kids. Like I did like growing up there, so I'm like, maybe it would be a good spot for that.
But
I
not
used to
anytime sit on Alki Beach and pretend it was Laguna Beach.
Yeah.
Oh, I would go around to Alki and in my Hollister.
Don't get me wrong, I was ready to get out. By the time I left, I was like, I am so excited to see more of the country, the world.
Seattle. I was in the
because everyone. Have you noticed everyone in Seattle stays? No one leaves.
I know.
So I was ready to get out, but I mean, who knows? Who knows what the future holds? But I'm a big city girl. Like I want to be in LA or New York, And I think those are the best places to be on content creation. There's just more events and more networking, etc. I also think it's really fun. One of my favorite things is the networking and meeting people in the industry and around. And I think that's way easier in a city where there's more events happening.
I really want to create, like, I want It Girl to become like just a network of girls where everyone is like genuinely very kind and supportive of one another. And
you need to throw like a network, It Girl, like networking, don't call it networking, but just like a hangout.
Know each other. And it's like, I'm trying to create connecting everybody environment of like really positive, nice, uplifting women who like help each other and connect each other with things and take each other to events.
Yeah.
And then people don't ever have to be alone. And I don't want anyone to ever have the LA experience I did. So now that I'm here, now that I'm here and we're doing the podcast, I'm like, okay, I'm going to be a nice girl group where you guys can all be friends and all hang out and all help each other. And I just want to like create so much more positivity. And
I'm sad you had a negative experience in LA, but it's funny because that is a common theme I hear, which bums me out because again, I've had positive experiences here, but I do think that if I moved here not having gone to college, I think it would be more difficult because I didn't have to do it
now.
Yeah. You would
be fine
because you have so many people here.
And I would stick up for myself in a different way. I didn't stick up for myself in a very mature way. And I realize now.
How long did you live here?
5 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Okay. No, I was here for a while. Yeah. But I went through like a phase of having roommates and then that was horrible. And I moved in by myself and I was so isolated.
Yeah.
I was
very lonely.
And people will not come pull you out of the house. If you want to be inside all day, every day and have no friends and no life, no one's come get you.
I know. It's
New York, people will. You'll become friends with your neighbor.
Well, so in New York, you can walk downstairs and you have the cute little, corner coffee store shop that you can go see the same people going to. And I feel like it's a little bit more of a community there than
here. It is. And we're all kind of like, everyone's struggling. Everyone's here. It's like, it is every man for themselves.
Yeah.
On a major scale. Like they will take you down to get to the top.
Major scale.
In a second, it doesn't matter if you've been friends for 10 years. They will take you.
You got to come to the West Side. I feel like the energy is different.
The beach, of course. Like, beaches.
Well, I feel like in Santa Monica, Venice, and Brentwood, speaking to my experience, is a lot more, hey, we're having a barbecue. Do you want to come? I mean, you don't really get that like city LA. But at the same time, it's much more like I feel like I know all my neighbors now. Everyone's hanging out. They have Thanksgiving outside all together. I don't know. It just feels like more of a community. But I know that's a lucky experience.
I would feel
that's not the same
negative vibes when I would go to like the Hollywood Hills. Yeah. When I was up there, you're like, there's that
energy draining.
The energy here is so bad. And then I have never had that experience in New York. Everywhere I go, I'm like,
so will you be in New York forever?
No. Again, with the raising of faith, it does seem. I saw a TikTok of a kid that got lost on the subway and it's terrified me.
Yeah.
He got off on a stop that his parents didn't get off. And I was like, it made me rethink everything. Yeah. I went from, do you follow the girl who does like A Day in My Life as an NYC mom?
Yeah.
Love her.
Yeah, love her.
So much.
I love her. Yeah.
Love her. And she makes it seem so easy. But I see still me the one that
I saw one recently and she's like, my kids love getting in a car because they never get in the car.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
It's funny because I grew up obviously going in cars. That's the only way to get around. There's like not really.
And I love how tough New York are. But at the same time, I'm like, do I want you to have to be tough because you...
I mean, New York is such a special place.
It is. But so I don't know. But I don't know where I would go. I'm just like, how do you drop this? Yeah, I know. I would love to move to London.
I was going to say, I would move to London in a heartbeat. Like a heartbeat.
I want London to become like the new influencer spot. It was like... I just feel like that's such an untapped.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks New York or LA. That's where everybody is. And I'm like, let's cancel LA. I'm on the cancel LA train.
Yeah.
Cancel LA. Let's make London amazing.
I love London.
I feel like all of us should just move to London. And I mean, all the it girls are in London.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. I mean, that's true.
Like, I would say my ultimate it girl, which is, I'm going to ask you that next.
Yes.
But mine would probably be Kate Moss.
Oh, I mean.
I just think she defines, and she's so, because the girls in London don't like attention.
Yeah.
They really there's different privacy laws. They respect privacy there. It's just different. And here, like in LA, you're like, they call the paparazzi on the house. Whereas in London, it's like they literally are in London because they don't want pictures taken of them.
Yep.
So I feel like that's why it's kind of hard to make London the it girl spot, because they're actual it girls who are like cool and not like a YouTuber who's like, I'm at Alfred's, come take a picture of me.
I feel like that's kind of how it goes.
Yeah.
No, London's the coolest city. I love it. I would absolutely move there. So if you ever move there,
I feel like I would come back with a British accent.
Yeah.
And
if you raise kids, they would.
I was talking to a girl who lived in London. Did she live in London? She either lived in London or spent a lot of time there. And I was like, see, your fake accent, that would happen to me.
Yeah.
I was like, I would come back and I'd be like, hello, it's so lovely to see you. Actually, I feel like they don't say hello. They say, what do they say? Hello. I don't know. I would go for the Emily.
You would be having tea all the time. Yep.
My luck, I would come back and everyone would be like, she's doing the Madonna thing or she's coming back with an accent. That's my only fear. I feel like I came back from Paris and I was like, am I that girl that goes abroad and comes back with an accent? So that's my only fear. But it is just like,
it's chic. It's so chic.
Oh, it's so chic. I do feel like the it girl. We need to tap into the it girl.
Yeah.
Of London.
I think you got to fly to London and start interviewing some it girls there.
And cancel LA, make London.
6 months New York, 6 months London.
What could...
hey.
Think of anything.
Yeah.
So who is your ultimate it girl? And what are some of the it girls that have inspired you, that have paved the way? Because I think there's more to being an it girl than just, oh, she's so great and cool. Like the thing for me about Kate Moss is that she has lasted and she's still cool, and cool just radiates off of her. And I love that about her. And when they've tried to cancel her or take her down or release unflattering, exploitative pictures of her, she's like, nope, I'm still Kate Moss. So who is that for you?
So I actually feel like, I have a lot of it girls I look up to, like Hailey Bieber. I love, she's a classic.
If you don't know this, but Sara does have the road.
I have the road.
Phone case. Show the phone case.
She's beautiful.
Did you get that from Road?
Yes, they sent it to you. I know, but it's like kind of it's hard to hold, but I love it. But it's like, I don't know, with one hand, but at the same time, it's so nice to have my lip gloss on me all the time. So I love it. Road.
Do you actually pull your...
Also, Road is so smart. Yeah, I do. I actually really do. So it's great. Hailey Bieber is an it girl, but I would say like the people I look up to the most and really find aspirational and kind of my it girls in my world are people like Olympia. I'm forgetting her last name, but she's
J. Crew.
Olympia. Do you know who I'm talking about? Yes. Last name starts with a G, I think. I could look it up.
It's an ought.
Yes. So, but Olympia of J. Crew, and I don't know if she's the creative director right now, but somebody, like, she is taking a iconic brand. J. Crew to me has always been...
And we're J. Crew.
Yeah, J. Crew's the best. Like, I love J. Crew, and I think J. Crew is such an amazing brand, but bringing somebody in like her, and I don't really know her background, to be honest, but she has such an eye, and she's coming in, she's like rebranding in a very organic way. She's so beautiful. That's consistent. She is. That's consistent with J. Crew too. Like, to come in, it's such a talent to come into a brand and be able to stay true to the brand identity, but create something really awesome. So she's definitely somebody I look up to.
I could see that for you, a creative director.
I mean,
that's already established.
That would be the goal. I would love that. And then
you have a style that's internal. That's like you have an elegance about you.
So maybe if it's not me starting a brand,
I would love to see that. We see influencers doing that. Except I would Kendall Jenner at 4. Yes. But I don't really feel like Kendall Jenner's never been there.
Well,
she doesn't go into that.
How much is she working? I don't know. But another person I love is she goes by LSD, I think, on Instagram, but she's the also maybe creative director of Moda Operandi. She's just amazing, has such a style, and I feel like also too is taking an amazing company and kind of bringing a very creative touch to it. So I would say the people I really look up to are the people who are very strong in their own identity and fashion direction.
And have a real place.
But yes, and I think... Like, obviously, I'm an Anna Wintour. Like, I think she's iconic.
She is.
But I don't know. I mean, I have all the same inspiration, like, aspirational people in Hollywood as everyone else. Like, I love Kate Moss, too. But those are the people I really look up to and admire.
And I need to say, justice for Hailey Bieber.
Oh, I love her. She can do no wrong.
So much hate. And we did an interview with Pookie.
Yeah, Campbell, I love her. She's amazing.
So sweet. And I met her very briefly. Everyone that saw the interview, it was 30 seconds. So it was brief. But I
went to Aspen with Campbell and they're the nicest people ever.
He loves that woman. Oh, it is not fake. I saw him all night. I was in the party with them all night.
They're the best.
He loves her.
No, they're so sweet, and she's so genuine, and he's awesome, and he's so hardworking. I was asking about his job, and he's very successful, and they have such a love. I love them. I'm a big fan. Good people.
On that note, justice for them as well.
Yeah.
Because we posted that interview, and the comments, the hate comment, the comment, oh, Hailey. Well, she said her ultimate it girl was Hailey Bieber. And I asked her that. I did not give her any preparation, I want to say. I did not tell her what I was going to ask her.
Yeah.
We grabbed her in the middle of a fashion show. It was loud. And I literally go, who's your ultimate it girl? She didn't answer. And then I asked her again because I wanted the answer. And she was like, I don't know, Hailey. Like, she just threw it out there. And everyone's like, oh my God. And they ripped her apart, not only to hate on her, but to hate on Hailey Bieber. One, I've met Hailey Bieber. She's sweet as pie.
I mean, she also too is, she seems so sweet.
She's a very classy, calm, just like positive presence. And it's like basic. She's basic. I want to end women basic.
I agree.
Is basic. Every woman is dynamic and has different interests.
Dynamic, and also everyone can have the same person they look up to and be different, and there's no such thing as, I agree.
Just because she is a beautiful and a talented businesswoman doesn't mean any other woman isn't beautiful or a talent. It's not there. It's not she's my only it girl and I hate everybody.
There's room for everybody.
She's someone I love, and you cannot tell me, people of the internet, that Hailey Bieber does not influence fashion.
Oh, she's look at this arguably one of the most influential. Like, she is starting trends left and right. And I mean, look,
I was going to say ridiculous phone case, but it's like, it's not even ridiculous anymore. It's
so functional. It's so functional. It's amazing.
At first, everyone was like, this is the silliest thing ever. And I was like, that's so silly. And now I want one. She's brilliant.
She's a genius.
Like, she's a genius.
Yeah.
That's, again, if a man did that, it would be the most iconic. Yeah. He would be on Shark Tank and everybody would be, where's Hailey Bieber's episode of Shark Tank? They need to get Hailey Bieber on there.
She's killing it.
But she's amazing. And I just feel like justice for the it girls, that's really important to me. Because I feel like I'm the one who receives the comments about them and I read it on my phone and I'm just like, okay, what did Hailey Bieber do to any of us?
Yeah, she's
friends with Selena.
No, I love it. We love it all. Love for everybody.
Love for everyone. Positivity is so much love for Pookie. So much love for Pookie. I want to end the Pookie comments because she's fabulous.
I mean, such amazing woman. I mean, so lucky to be able to interview such amazing people. And I feel lucky to have met some of the people you're talking about. But it is, I mean, there's so many awesome people out there. And I love the idea that everyone finds inspiration and creativity from, like, I think that also too, there's an it girl, but there's also so many it girls. There's so that it's like, and you can draw inspiration from 150 different it girls, and it can still be, organic to who you are and aspirational and everything. I don't know. I think it girl, there's so many it girls and everyone's amazing in their own way. And I'm like, Hailey Bieber will always be my it girl, but I'm also like, I draw inspiration from so many different people.
So many women, and so many women influence fashion. So many women influence everything we buy. And so many, like, women really run the world. We 100. They say we don't, but we do.
We do.
And we really do. And
you're running the world. I mean, I can't wait to see the rest of your guests for this podcast.
Now I want to see you as the creative director of J. Crew.
Yeah. Maybe one day.
Oh, see that? It's not even funny.
Maybe one day. I have a lot to learn. Like I said, I'm excited. I think there's a lot in the industry that's super fun and exciting. And we'll see where my social media takes me. But yeah, a lot to look forward to. I'm really excited to see all the rest of your guests on this podcast. It's such a cool idea to go deeper with all your it girls.
I'm honored to get to hang out with you guys. It's such my pleasure to get to talk to you guys. And I see such big things for you.
Oh my gosh,
I'm excited that you're kind of getting to that step of like, it's time to kind of like go in.
It is. It's crazy.
I feel like when you jump in, that's when you feel like it can't get any bigger. And then when you jump in, it explodes.
I'm excited for when that happens. And I think it is sooner than I ever anticipated. So
do you want to shout out your Instagram and your TikTok?
Yes. So my Instagram and TikTok are the same username handle, Styled Sara.
Styled Sara, the stylish.
No H on Sarah.
Oh, my mom has an H, so I'm glad you said.
Yeah, no H.
Sara.
Yeah, Sarah.
Make sure to follow her TikToks because her outfits are next level.
Thank you.
Inspires me. You made me want that Penny Lane coat that
right.
So bad.
It's a good one.
Followed me and I was like,
no, I love that.
I mean, I need this.
Yeah,
I coat. I know, but it's so good. Follow her on Instagram. You can follow It Girl on Instagram, It Girl the series. Mine is Bailey T. Taylor because the original Bailey Taylor won't give me my
some
10-year-old girl asset.
Stop it.
I'm Bailey Taylor. So Bailey T. Taylor, Bespoke TV, and It Girl the series. Sarah, thank you for having me.
Fun. This is so fun. I feel like I could talk to you for
I know. I could have so much more for the rest of the day. But it was so
you.
to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Perspective. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.